face is a little dark.
All right, what's up, guys? This is iMotorRace Talk with Jordan Balasico. I have Mike McMahon as my guest co-host, and our guest today is none other than 2002 Daytona 500 winner, Ward Burton. Ward, welcome to the show today.
Well, thank y'all so much for having me.
Of course, man. Hey, I just want to start off and say congratulations to Harrison Burton for getting that Ward Brothers ride next year.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity for him.
Indeed it is.
I was going to ask if there's anything you're allowed to say or any comments or anything.
Man, Jeff moved his family to Charlotte area many years ago. So, Jeb and I still live in our hometown, Halifax County, Virginia. So, we stay in touch. We see each other at the racetracks mainly, but other than racing, his family, my family don't have a hell of a lot in common. So we're still working on Jeb's opportunity for next year, and that looks real promising. So hopefully that'll all pan out here in about a month.
I'm a huge supporter of Jeb. Huge supporter. Love to see him in that 10 car.
Thank you. It's been a long road, so it's been an absolute blessing this year. I can't tell you really. I don't. Yeah, emotionally, I don't even have the words for how much we owe to Colic Racing and Nutrient Ag Solutions, State Water Heaters, Alsco, Cheddars, Rocky Boots, all of his partners. Because without all of them, and in particular Nutrient Ag Solutions, they really made it happen to where Jeb could become full time again.
Nice. Yeah, I remember. I think it was the other day. I was watching an old truck race. I think it was one of Jeb's first truck races when he was with Kyle Busch Motorsports. And when I first started watching him, I'm like, he has huge potential. So I look forward to seeing how his career unfolds.
Yeah, he was running for Turner, Fred Turner at Turner.
Okay, Turner. Okay.
Yeah, and then Scott bought in with so Turner Scott. But that was a great opportunity. Heck, he got 7 poles out of 21 races, won a race, finished top 5 in points, and then we had sponsor Nig on the contract. And really from that moment for the next 4 or 5 years, it was just a real struggle. So I mean, it's just an absolute blessing for him to have this opportunity.
My question to you would be, with the rain shortened Talladega victory, saying all the troubles you've overcome, were you just like, we took the victory, or you kind of wish wish it hadn't been rain shortened?
Man, the rain was coming. You can't do anything about Mother Nature. It takes a long time to dry that track. I heard my wife screaming because I can't watch a race around my wife. So she was upstairs and I'm downstairs, and I went upstairs to ask her what she thought was going to happen. And before I could get the words out of my mouth, she was screaming because they had called the race. So, hey, man, a victory's a victory. I mean, there in Daytona in particular, anything can happen at any time. They will. I can't remember, what was it, 20-some laps ago? Anything could have happened at that point, but Jeb did a really great job to stay in the lead. And thankfully, they realized it because, they were getting ready to take the green flag within about 300-400 yards. And it probably wouldn't have been a pretty situation if they had gone in turn 1 and 2. So, no, I don't look at that as we stole or anything else. Jeb did a great job to be in that position to win the race, and obviously AJ was working with him, and so was Justin Haley. So, hell no, man, I don't look back at that at all. Look, I got this right over top of my. Excuse me. I got this right over top of my.
Nice.
So, it doesn't mean a thing at all about a rain shortened race.
Hey, a win's a win.
Yes, sir.
Jordan, I'm just going to add 2 things here because I'm just gonna piggyback on what Ward's talking real quick, if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead, buddy.
It's cool that you have a newspaper of your son winning. When I was a kid watching NASCAR, we didn't have the internet back then, so my dad would take out the sports page and be like, "Look, here's NASCAR this," and I was looking at you in those papers, and now I'm talking to you, so I'm fanboying out. But you mentioned also Daytona. I'm gonna segue into that because that 2002 Daytona 500, your victory, was only the second 500 I watched flag to flag. And even though my man Gordon, he got done wrong by Sterling Marlin, just hearing Alan Bestwick tell your story and tell all about your owner and hearing all of that made that victory for me, just blew my mind as a kid. And I became a Ward Burton fan on that day and have been ever since. So I just wanted to say that.
Well, appreciate that.
Even though my man Gordon,
and look, Gordon went back and said, because Sterling had gotten a really good jump on a restart, and I was helping push a little bit. But if Gordon could go back and do it over again, he wouldn't have come down on Sterling. But at the same time, it's, what was it, 4 or 5 laps to go. But yeah, I mean, those races, it's got a lot of drama coming on throughout the course of the race. We were just really fortunate to miss when 29 blocked the 24 going into turn 1. I mean, I literally missed 29 by that much. So, those races are just a crapshoot, man. In 01, we led most laps, and we were going to have a really, really good on that race. We got taken out of the back stretch, so you just don't never know.
Hey, Jordan, we got a lot of feedback on your end, buddy. Maybe you want to mute your mic while Ward's talking.
Yeah, it's great. I'm going to step away real quick. I'm just going to put my daughter away real quick, okay?
Okay.
I'll be right back, all right?
We want to hear what you have to say, Ward.
Yeah, because I got a great story from my first Cup race in 2002. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, man, we could, when he was trying to get me hooked up with this Chrome to be able to do the live feed, I could hear her daughter raising Cain in the background. So that's cool.
Yeah, she's adorable. But I couldn't hear anything you were saying just now. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. It's a live show. Anything could happen. We appreciate you. Said thank you for having you, man. This is Jordan's show. I started him kind of. He interviewed Bill Lester first, who's a good friend of mine.
Sorry about that, guys.
I interviewed Cody Dinsmore last week on the Speedway Review. Do you know Cody from the Georgia Hall of Fame?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. He works at that museum there at City Hall in Dawsonville, and he talked about turning that place around and everything. So that was really cool. He's good friends with Chase and Bill Elliott. So, but Jordan's back. Let's go, Jordan. Take over your show, man.
All right. So one of my feedbacks is Burtons are great for the sport. And Bill Davis Racing. So, of all the teams you raced for, Ward, what was your favorite team racing for?
Most of the teams I raced for when we got in the Cup Series, we just didn't have the full resources. We were always trying to close the gap. Mm-hmm. But we did a lot with less than some of the bigger teams, but Bill Davis Racing, till there at the end, we were doing pretty good for what we had. When I went with them in 95, we were setting the world on fire. Then they changed the body. They changed the Pontiac body, and we kind of lost it. Although there was probably 15 to 20 some races that we were dominating the races of the bigger teams, from a blowing the motor or lugging that loose, or I'd make a mistake. We lost quite a few races, but we had some good runs, particularly when we brought Tommy Baldwin on board the latter part of '98. We had 3 or 4 good solid years there.
So I remember that 2002 Daytona 500 like was just, I'll never forget. It was the red flag. Here comes old Sterling getting out of his car, walking over to the fender. I'm like, Sterling, what are you doing? You can't do that. You can't do that. And my grandmother, she was watching it with me, and she's like, look at this fool out here trying to fix his car under the red flag. He can't do that. And then what cracked me up was the announcer saying, "You can't do that." I think it was it Alan Beswick who said? I can't remember.
It's Benny Parsons.
Benny Parsons, the late great Benny Parsons.
Benny called it right down the middle.
He was like, "You can't do that." And I'll never forget that, because I remember it was Ward in first, Elliott in second. I forgot who was third, but I remember I was watching it, and I'm like, Ward, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, and I'm like, well, I'll be damned, Ward Burton wins it. And I was like, I tell you what, having 2 Virginia boys finish 1 and 2, that was a beautiful moment. I've been a racing fan for 24 years. That 2002 Daytona 500 has to be one of my favorites.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was awful special for, me and my family and all their partners, the race team, car owners, Bill and Gail Davis. Special day, every kid always dreams of winning the Super Bowl. If you're a racer, you're starting with go-karts way back. So felt like that we had a chance to win a few of them. We had quite a few top 10s and top 5s at Daytona and a bunch of different series, but we gave one away in '01. We were lucky enough to capitalize and be in the right spot in '02. The car really wasn't handling very good most of the race. Most of the race I was running mid-pack right next to the wall, because I just couldn't get the front end to work at the bottom of the track. In the last 2 sets of tires, Tommy and the team made some great adjustments, and then I could really get the car where I needed to go. And we had passed Ron Newman for third coming off a 2. And then that kind of set the stage up. I can't remember where the caution come out for when Sterling and Jeff got together. But, back then we raced back to the flag. And Sterling, Sterling's right front tire was smoking, and I was on the outside of him. And I got no option. Got to race back to the flag. He beat me by about a foot or 2, but he couldn't have gone much further. There's no way that tire would have blown. And back then, the side of the car got Bondo and it's rigid sheet metal. Sterling did the only thing he could have done. If he'd have gotten away with it, it's really smart looking back on it. Had he been able to pull it out, had NASCAR not caught it, seen it, or whatever else, he would have still had the lead. So it was pretty smart looking back on it. I've never seen anybody do it since.
I had that race recorded on VHS.
The old CDs. The big disc. Yeah, I got a few of them laying around too.
Man. Oh man, the good
I
old
loved
days.
I loved your episode on Dale Jr. Download. That's the reason I started these podcasts. Listening to that and Door Bumper Clear. So I loved your episode on there. That was great.
Well, thank you. That was a lot of fun. I hadn't really ever spent that much time with Dale.
Really?
No.
Gee.
Wow, that's shocking.
Well, he's a busy man. He's wanted.
Yeah.
He couldn't go anywhere without getting mobbed. But Dale is really down to earth. He's a good guy. He's obviously great for the sport. I can't say enough about him and what I experienced with him and what we all saw when his dad passed at Daytona. He really carried the torch for years. In the grandstand, there was nothing but half of the grandstands was red Budweiser. So, I mean, you know, to be able to handle that with class and still be able to focus on racing and all the other obligations he had, that's a big load on any young man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so amazing to hear those stories. It definitely changed my perspective, and I can't get enough of it. Honestly, but
But there's a hell of a lot more where that came from.
Hey, we can't forget the Sharpie 500.
What is a Sharpie 500?
which one?
The 2002, the Earnhardt Jr. incident.
Oh, is that the Sharpie 500?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was he involved?
You know,
refresh me of that one.
What?
Refresh me of that one, Jordan. What happened?
It was when Junior got into Burton. Burton took his stuff off and threw it at Junior. He said on camera, he's like, "There's stuff I want to say, but I can't say it on TV."
and then they asked me another question. I went ahead and said it anyway.
Yeah. He said, if I remember, Ward said, if I had something I could shoot through the window.
Yeah, my wording wasn't very proper. They socked a $5,000 fine on me for that one.
You gotta love Bristol, though.
I feel like drivers aren't getting fined anymore for cursing. I catch them curse it, but then I never hear about any fines anymore.
I didn't curse. I think maybe hell or damn, but no, I didn't say anything really profound.
Nothing Tony Stewart or Robbie Gordon bad, right?
It was
no. I have not ever done anything remotely like either one of them. Now I do have a sailor's vocabulary, but doing it on TV is not the proper thing to do.
Not when your sponsors are watching. I heard I said Tony Stewart, and now that just like a light bulb went on in my head. What do you think of the SRX series, and will we see you in it?
You know, everything Tony does seems to always be first class. Obviously, Ray Abraham has got a lot of experience of building programs and what he did with Dodge. So them teaming up, it looks like a lot of fun. I don't know if I have the time to do a commitment of running that many races. With all the things we're doing, I'm doing a little bit, going to some races to help activate for some of Jeb's partners and all their conservation efforts. You know, I don't know if I could commit to that, man. You know, could I run a few races? Absolutely, but I don't know enough. Is it the same races, same guys running how many races and they're running for points? I don't know enough about it, to be honest with you.
Nah, we just want to see you race, Ward. I'd love to see you out there battling Bobby Labonte, Michael Waltrip like it's 2003 again, buddy.
Let's go for it.
Let's go bring back the good old days, man.
Hey, those really good old days.
I miss them.
Man, every time I get in a car, which is not very often, it's normally a ride-around car, I'm thinking, what am I doing? Why aren't I doing this? Because it just feels right, you know.
I think all of us racing fans would agree with you, Ward.
Well, appreciate that. It's, you know, I was lucky to have some success. I was pretty loyal to all the folks all the car owners that helped me out. So I didn't take some of the opportunities I could have won a lot more races in, but I'm thankful for the success we all had together.
That was something that really stood out to me hearing you talk about that, was the offers you turned down to stay loyal to your, you know, to Bill Davis or the guys that gave you your opportunity. That spoke volumes with me.
Man, you know, it's like A.G. Dillard. You know, I was working for Dad in the construction company. I was driving for Charlie Henderson. I would drive to Abington every single week, you know, go commercial flights and all that stuff. I mean, it was a real drag just not being a drag saying negative. It's just a lot going on trying to make a living and take care of all those responsibilities. But A.G. Dillard gave me my first real full-time racing where I was racing for a living. So, you know, I was having some offers, but he wanted to go cup racing, and I just felt like it was the right thing to do. We did a lot with a little, you know, with Ronnie Crooks and Felipe Lopez, not to mention Tubes, but you know, it was a long 2 years, but we had some good times.
Your last NASCAR race was in 2012. Am I correct?
Say that again.
Your last NASCAR race, was it 2012 or was it 2011 in the truck?
I think it was 2012. Jeb wasn't qualified to run the truck at Daytona, so we had 5 races with State Water Heater sponsoring, and just that kind of happened last minute. He wasn't qualified to race. Talking to State, Jeb yelled out the window, "Will you run Daytona?" And I said, "Yeah."
I'll have to watch that race. I didn't. I jumped into the truck series real late, so I missed a lot of the.
Well, look, you're not going to see me to the very end because the truck wouldn't run with them. It was something with the gearing or whatever. So I learned that real quick that I couldn't keep up with the draft. So all I did the entire 100 laps was miss the wrecks, and I mean there was a hell of a lot of them. And then we lined up like 9th with 2 laps to go. We finished 8th, and no lie, they were flipping beside me. I mean, it was the craziest. I was thinking, man, these guys just, you know, when you're on those tracks, you have to use your brake to not run over the guy in front of you. And I guess they didn't have any brake pedals because it was the damnest thing I'd ever seen. But anyway, we finished 8th my last NASCAR race.
Nice.
Wow. I totally believe that, and I'm definitely going to watch that one. I'm going back and catching all the old ones that I missed. So right now I'm kind of in your early days in the what was it, 94. I'm in the 94 season. So Jeff Burton is just now a rookie. I'm watching him on YouTube. I did that during the quarantine, you know, pandemic, because there was no sports on.
Right.
So I just went back to 1993. I said I'm going to catch up on all this history I missed out on, you know.
Yeah. So me, Jeff, Steve Grissom, excuse me, Joe Nemechek, and I'll think of the rest of them in a minute. There was like 6 of us that went from the Busch Series to Cup Series in '94. Okay, it was a heck of a crop of a bunch of us guys that had been running against each other for years in the Busch Series.
Awesome. Normally, when I interview someone, I like to ask them what their fanboy or what, you know, when they met their hero in the sport, a moment like that. But you're already our hero. I don't know if you have one of those moments where it just kind of struck you one day, but I would like to ask you, you know, what was it like with Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, just being at the track with them, you know, maybe not racing them on the track. I'm sure people ask you that all the time, but what was it like just hanging around the racetrack with the Intimidator?
Well, Dale was just that. So he was really elusive, right? Personality wise. I mean, I don't think I'd be the only one that said this. He didn't want to get close to anybody, didn't want to show a lot of feelings. So, you know, we talked a few times about him coming to my place and do some hunting or whatever. Never really materialized. I was really pretty tight with one of his best friends, Neil Bonnet. So Neil was a really Southern gentleman and, you know, just a very personal guy. The thing about Dale, and I said this to his son a month or two ago on his download, if if Dale wrecks me or anybody else out there, it's just racing. That's all that's going to be said about it. You wrecked a 3-car, you're going to get hate mail, you're going to get booed at the damn, and possibly black flag. So, I mean, it was almost like a damn cult, man. And, you know, I could go back from the first time Dale recognized me and spoke to me at Hickory Motor Speedway to him dumping me at the Miami race, leading up to the 2001 race that, you know, had the fatality. And, you know, I had to, when I was getting introduced, I purposely bumped my shoulder up against Dale. And that's the only way I could let him know I have not forgotten.
Mm.
Do I feel bad about it now? Maybe a little bit. But, I mean, he taught me that because he just literally, he was frustrated that last race and he just dumped me. And, you know, hell, man, it was tough because obviously an awesome racer, you know, one of the best of all time. But he was a handful on the racetrack just to be able to race and race clean with.
Mm. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, man. That's great. I heard the emotion when you said it at that one part, man. That was real. I appreciate you opening up and sharing that, Ward.
Well, and I'll say this, guys. So, you know, look, I wasn't the only one that had issues with Dale, and there was a few others that you know, we call them weapons. Dale was smart. Dale always knew what he was doing. But my wife, we landed a plane to go back to Halifax County, Virginia, where we live. And my wife pulled over beside the road. My youngest child, Ashton, and Sarah were in the car with her, and Jeb was in the car with me. Mm-hmm. And she was crying, just bawling, pretty much hysterical. And I was like, what? And that's when I first learned that Dale had died. So, you know, man, the sport back in those days, and I could name a bunch of guys that I was racing against, and many others were too. In the Dash Series, the Busch Series, and the Cup Series, we were losing drivers every year. Mm-hmm. It was just, you know, I'm not going to say it's common, but I mean, there was one racetrack just where they run last weekend, lost 2 drivers in like 4 years, hit the exact same spot. And that's just a short track. And, you know, some of it, unless you are Dale Earnhardt or something with a really high profile name, there's a lot of men and women that really got hurt really bad or killed racing back in those days. So you got to give your hats off to NASCAR of moving the driver inside the cockpit further. Mm-hmm. The safety walls, the cars taking some and absorbing some of the inertia when we used to hit concrete walls. It's just a lot of little things just add up to where the cars are tons safer. Not to mention we all wear open face helmets. Mm-hmm. You know, and now they got horns. I mean, I could go on. There's so many steps, but it took, unfortunately, to take out one of the heroes in the sports to really grab the attention for not to let anybody run a seat a certain way or seat belts a certain way and make things mandatory. And that's, you know, hats off to them because it was time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like on the IndyCar side with when Dane Weldon died in 2011. Now all of a sudden they have an aero screen, and they said it was somebody I heard the other day. He says if IndyCar had the aero screen in 2011, Dan Weldon would still be here because I guess it's the way his head hit the post at Las Vegas, and the same with Justin Wilson at Pocono when that piece of debris flew and hit the top of his helmet, which honestly took his life a few days later. So I feel like all these different safety features over the years has really improved the sports to make everything a lot safer.
Yeah, you're right. You know, you think about NASCAR. I mean, so the generation before mine, mm-hmm. or say before the Harry Gants of the world, man, they were running in seats and seat belts with no headrest. I mean, it's just amazing that there wasn't more people seriously hurt even before our group. I mean, because we were a lot safer than the pioneers of the sport. It's really amazing. I mean, even the stuff that like the '72 Nova I was running in the early '80s. I mean, no race car driver's gonna get in that anymore.
I heard from Ronnie Russell, who worked for Richard Petty, and he was a truck owner in the early 2000s. He said that, the guys going out on pit road had cars coming at them at almost full speed. There wasn't a speed limit on pit road, and they were going out there in their blue jeans and just, guys, just doing those pit stops. But Ward, since we're on the subject of crashes, could I ask you personally what you feel like was like your worst wreck or something like that?
Sure. My worst, I had some terrific crashes.
Terrific.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's the right wording or not. I had some hard hits. The ones that got me the worst is when the car hit the side because nothing gave and it would give me a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
So like in '94, we set a track record with A.G. Dillard and the Hardy Chevrolet at Charlotte. Was leading the race, right front tire blew. Look, I've watched the video, so I think I remember. But literally, when the rescue guys got there, I was walking around the car in a complete daze. And when they had me in the hospital, and if this went on from what my wife told me, about 48 hours, where you could come in the room and I'd ask you the same 3 racing questions, but you could walk immediately out and come in. I couldn't even remember you'd been there.
Wow. So
then all of a sudden the light bulb came back on and I started having short-term memory. But back in those days, I didn't let NASCAR know anything about it. I raced Rockingham the next week and finished 9th.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Wow. That's impressive.
Well, that was the only time I could focus because concussion. See, I didn't have the vertigo problem.
Mm-hmm.
I had the headaches and the short-term memory loss and not a lot of confusion, but it was really hard to focus on anything. But when I got in that race car, I felt the best. But that's the only time you can focus on one thing. So actually it helped. It helped my head by not hurting because I could focus on racing, but it would have hurt me really badly if I'd have hit something hard again. So I probably had 4 or 5 of them. Probably one of my other worst races is, man, I was like 3rd. The race that John Andretti won, the Firecracker 400 at Daytona. Dick Trickle and Mark Martin got together, and one of them clipped me on the right rear, and I hit exactly like Neil Bonnet in Daytona going into turn 3.
Ooh.
And open face helmet, my steering wheel hit my head. I looked like Elephant Man for a week or 2. But yeah, I had some pretty rough crashes. But hey, man, if you pay, you're gonna play every now and then.
Kind of reminds me of when Ricky Rudd taped his eyeballs open just so he could run after his Daytona accident.
Yeah, that's crazy. Ricky the tough man.
He was a hell of a driver too.
Yeah, exactly.
Who would you say, Ward, do you still stay in contact with or see regularly that was in this sport that we would know,
Nobody.
Nobody?
Man, I live in rural America, and I'm working on land or conservation efforts all the day. I mean, I was in the Everglades last week. So, most of all the racers now live in the Charlotte area. Okay. So they can be, that's where most of the race teams are. So, I just, unless they are enjoying that type of lifestyle, I enjoy seeing them. I saw Ricky a year or two ago when unfortunately we were at John Andretti's funeral.
Mm.
So I still stay in touch a little bit with a few of them, but man, I'm just driven so much every day. I just don't have a lot of time for chit chat.
Ward said I was there to win, not make friends.
Well, you know, there's some good guys, and there's some you better pass or wait till you can pass or let them pass you because you can't run them side by side. So, you know, it's like that in every class.
Oh man. So I've got about 2 more questions just off the top of my head because I'm totally winging this here.
Me too.
What? Hey, I mean, it's Ward Burton. I'm doing the best I can.
Hey, it's all right.
What are some influences you personally or advice you've given to Jeb?
Treat everybody the way you want to be treated. Follow the code. Don't vary from the code. You don't lie, cheat, and steal. Don't have any unspoken motives. You be honest. I mean, I've raised all my kids that way. So there's no reason ever to say, oh, it's okay this time. I don't believe in that ever. And then when it comes to racing, man, you got to run all the laps. You know, communicate to get your car better. They haven't been where they wanted to be the last 3 or 4 races. They've gotten some decent finishes out of it, but you know, I see them coming. I see some of the things that Jeb is doing to improve on his skills too. The racing, just the pure racing, the vehicles are so much different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like at Loudon, you can say, hey, you know, you got to be able to turn in, and it's like this. That part of racing will never change. You got to be able to turn left when you're taking a left-hand turn and not moving the steering wheel like this a little bit right, because somebody behind you is not going to be doing that, and they're going to eat you. They're going to eat you up. So you know, it's all about entry first, getting turned as early as you can in the middle, and that's going to give you forward drive off. So, you know, those basic things haven't changed, but racing in itself has changed a lot. I mean, like setups, hell, we ran what we ran in the rear of the car, they run in the front of the car and vice versa now. So, I mean, setups and all are just, the cars are completely different. So there's not much input I can give on that at all.
That's something I wouldn't have known. Do you have an opinion on the next gen car that's coming?
What I'm hoping it's going to do, and it's from experience, right? When I was racing and first got in the Cup Series, everybody either run a Laughlin chassis or a Hopkins chassis. We're buying the same parts, the lower A's, the rear end, the upper A's. You know, for the most part, we were all running the same equipment. Now, the Penske's and the Hendricks and the Gibbs and all, they might have had more resources to do more with that. But now everyone is building their own parts. They're basically building every damn thing out there except the tachometer. Now, how is a smaller team going to compete with that? How are they going to have a chance to win a race and run up front? You're not going to see it. You might see it at Daytona and Talladega, but with that few exceptions, not much. So I'm hoping it's going to close the gap to where it's not just money buying speed. Because all of those drivers out there are talented drivers, okay? They didn't get there for just the heck of it. So let's hope that it closes the gap and puts it more back like it used to be, where every now and then the smaller team, you hit a good setup, the driver can run with those cars and those drivers. That's what I hope happens.
Awesome. Jordan, do you have anything planned for Ward here?
Well, actually, I have a story from my first Cup race. It's hilarious, actually. So I went to my first Cup race in 2002 at Michigan, and I was about 9 years old. Yeah, about 9 years old. All of a sudden, they're driving. I'm having a good old time. Next thing you know, I see the 22 Caterpillar car hitting pit lane. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, what's going on with Ward? And and the guy sitting next to me, he was a Ward Burton fan. He was like, well, Ward's going to go get him some gas so he can come around the corner and try and win this damn thing.
Well, it couldn't have been a truck race.
It was a cup race.
Oh, okay. I thought you said truck race.
No, it was the cup race. And it was
Which race was it?
It was the Sirius Satellite 400. It was the Father's Day weekend at Michigan.
Okay.
Matt Kenseth won that race.
We had some good runs at Michigan. I always liked that track a lot.
It's a lovely track. I've been there. Now the seats that I sat in actually aren't even there no more. I sat in turn 4. Those seats are gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think when they repaved it, they got rid of some of the stands, so you only have the stands on the front stretch and then turns 1 and 2.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, speaking of repaved, now you had the chance to race on the old configure of Atlanta and the new configuration of Atlanta Motor Speedway. Between those two, which configuration did you like the better? The one from the 90s or the one from 97 to now?
Man, I like the old track a lot. But
we hear that a lot. We hear that a lot.
But I like this latest layout also. I mean, I loved how you could run right next to the wall like at Darlington, or you could run the middle groove, or you could run the bottom, and in both corners. You know, it seemed like that they always do a good job at Atlanta. I think if I was going to be if I had anything to do with what the shape of racetracks would be, I think we need to have some more character racetracks like a Rockingham, and not have so many 1.5 miles that are so aero dependent, and it just makes it so difficult to pass. And, you know, the places like Rockingham, North Wilkesboro, and them, I just think it adds a diversity to the sport. But we'll see. Sounds like they're doing that at California, so it'd be interesting to see how that turns out.
No,
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say the Nashville Fairgrounds. I got to see that track for the first time. I've heard about it, never seen it, so I got to see them race that. That was my first race there, and I gotta say, these are some great tracks. They're running SRX. So, Ward, completely agree. Rockingham, North Wilkesboro, bring them back. Let's do it.
Or if they don't bring it back, you know, I don't know. You know, NASCAR went into the track ownership when they decided that 65% of the TV money was going to go to the track owners. So, you know, at the time when they were building 1.5 miles, I think if they could go back and do it over again, they wouldn't build so many 1.5 miles. But anyway, hey, the sport's starting to thrive again. I think we're all happy to see that, and it looks like that they're going in some great directions. You know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, Ward, did you race on both versions of Bristol, the concrete track and the asphalt on the regular? Which between the two surfaces, which surface did you like best? The old blacktop surface or the concrete surface?
Pavement, much more so. Yeah, I mean, man, it was. I didn't get to race on it, but like for 2 years. But the pavement was just awesome. I mean, just the kind of grip you could get up high, in particular. I think the racing would probably a little better. Concrete is. You know, you got to have expansion joints in concrete from having poured a bunch of concrete for my granddad over the years. So it's just really hard to have it smooth. You know, they ground it with diamond cutting grinders, and they grind it trying to get it smoother. But man, I just think pavement always makes for better racing.
Okay. So my buddy Andrew wants to know. He says NASCAR needs more short tracks. Do you agree on that?
I think they need more diversity where, you know, so they've got more road courses. We obviously got a mini 1.5 miles. and I'm not saying it needs to be a Rockingham, but there's a track sort of like what they ran at New Hampshire this past weekend. It's a mile track, but it's got not so much there, but you got some of them. Got some speedway characteristics. You got some speed, but it's really a short track driving track. I think the more you can get that, the better the racing is, the more drama that goes on. And again, it's not the technology. Technology has found this sport in a big way. It's just the faster you're going, the more dependent all these little things are, or whether you're competitive or not. It just makes it much more difficult.
Yeah.
I saw one question pop up that asked, Ward, have you ever raced on dirt before?
You know, where I live, there wasn't any dirt tracks, so we did in the go-kart days. You know, pretty much all of it was dirt. But heck, I was 25 before I got in my first race car, and that was just here local at South Austin. And you know, I don't even know what the nearest dirt track was at that time. I'd have liked to have.
Well, I don't know how long Jordan agreed to. I don't know how long you have here. I have to go pick up my son here in a few minutes.
Oh, that's fine. Oh no, that's fine.
Go ahead.
Ward, I actually have somebody who actually has an autographed flag from you, from your 2002 Daytona 500 victory. He's actually watching. I'm actually going to bring him on real quick because he would love to. He's got a few questions that he would love to ask you.
Well, I'll jump off so he can jump on. So we're
all right, that sounds good. Hey, Mike,
three people against Ward.
Right.
Nice meeting you.
Ward, it's been my honor, and since I have you here, I have one final question because I haven't been able to get in touch with you. Would you do us the honor of joining us on the Speedway Review sometime? My podcast.
Yeah, y'all just let me know.
Yes. All right. Well, I'll be in contact with you then. Hopefully, if Jordan can help me organize that.
Okay.
Of course.
We'd love to have you on. Jordan and I kind of split ways because he does his own thing, but he said you were going to be on here, and I begged him. I'm like, dude, this is my birthday present. So.
Well, happy birthday, man.
Ward, it's been my genuine pleasure, my friend.
Thank you.
Take care. God bless. And I want one of those magnetic belts that Jeb's been advertising on Facebook.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Groove Life makes them, and they're just, when I first got it, you know, because I'm just used to leather belts, I don't know, but the more I wear it, I mean, I love it. I can wear it with a dress pants, or it's like I've been running a chainsaw most of the day today, and, you know, can't hurt it.
Hey, next time you're in the Everglades, let me know. I got you, Ward.
All right, sounds like a plan.
First beer's on me, buddy.
Hey,
Sounds good.
you know, Mike. Now we got to get Jeb and Jeff on here sometime. You know, who knows?
Not pushing. I'm taking my luck. I'm taking my luck as it is. On to the next. Whatever God has in store for me next. I just want to say, Ward, my dad is a huge fan of my podcast. He's a supporter, and he prays for us all the time. I went through a couple rough times where I had to, you know, reformat it, and it was a little rough, but my dad prays for it, and I said we might be talking to Ward Burton, and he remembered you. His memory's not that great, you know, but he remembered you, and he said, Ward Burton? Really, Ward? So I know my dad's he would say hello to you if he could. So
all right, well, tell him how to say hello.
He's going to freak out, man. God bless. I'm going to get off here. Thank you so much. Jordan, you're awesome. My best friend, man. You're my best friend. You're my Cal Naughton Jr. Shake and bake.
Hey, shake and bake. Speaking of shake and bake, you know, Ricky Bobby turned 50 the other day. right, well, I'm just waiting for I guess a friend of mine, William, oh, here we go. He is trying to get his devices connected. So as soon as I get him connected, he's gonna come on. Yeah, I guess he has a flag that he got at an auction, and it was signed by you a year after you won the Daytona 500.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me send him a message, let him know how to get on here. At least we finally got through to get you on here, buddy.
I'm sorry for all my lack of computer skills, man.
It's all right. Sometimes I don't even know computer skills sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not very good at it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Brad Keselowski going to Roush Fenway?
Say that again.
What's your thoughts about Brad Keselowski going to Roush Fenway next year?
Ought to be a good opportunity for him. You know, Brad's got a lot of knowledge to help. You know, Jack's always put the resources there. Doesn't make a lot of sense why they're not running better than they are in the last few years. So I think Brad, I'd be really surprised, you know, moving people around and getting some right folks in there. I'll be surprised if they he doesn't make a big difference there.
I agree, because I know, you know, back to talking about the safety features. I remember that Daytona 500 last year with Newman's flip. When I saw that, it scared me half to death. For it, I'm not even going to lie. Like, is he okay? Is he alive? Is he injured or what? And when I found out that his own creation, you know, saved his life, so I was thinking like maybe Newman could step away and continue working with the engineering team, since that's what that's what he went to Purdue University for.
I'd tell you, you know, even a small guy like me, I used to race, you know, the window net was literally right there. You know, you want to get as far to left as you can for the weight. You know, had NASCAR not changed that alone could have been a lot different outcome for Ryan. So happy for, you know, obviously him and his family that he was able to walk out of that baby.
Right. And then 2 days later, he's walking out. Let's see.
Yeah, exactly.
He's getting his stuff here. He's trying to get his camera and mic to work.
Sound like me.
Yeah, my normal co-host, they're brothers. They both work for NASCAR. So I was like, you joining me tonight? He was like, no, I'm doing something. I was like, all right, let me get another co-host on.
No, I hear you. So yeah. Jordan, when did you start doing this, and what do you do to make it grow? What do you do to make it worth your while to do these type of things?
So I started it back in June. You know, me being like a big fan of the sport for, you know, so many years. It's like I wanted to be able to you know, talk about the sport that I love. What I do is like I promote it across the like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I've reached out to several people. I have a few ties within JD Racing with Gary Keller. So the more I reach out, drivers has come to me. I've had sports car driver Samantha Tan on here. I've had had Mike on here last week. A couple of guys. One of my guys, John, he's friends with Joey Logano's PR. He's gonna try and get him on here. So I feel like the more that I keep doing this, the more viewers I get. I'm hoping that somebody within NASCAR can actually notice my podcast, get me on to get sponsorships, and hopefully put me out there so I can get more active drivers on there and stuff like that. So that's what my goal is, just like talk about it, have other people on here, and go from there.
Okay, buddy. Well, I hope this helps you.
Oh yeah, I was like when people found out Ward Burton was on, they was like, oh man, I got to tune in for this one.
All right, good.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I'm doing it through my phone, so it should work, but it's not. I don't know how. Click on unmute and view camera. Let's see. You said Jeff moved out of Virginia?
Yeah, he moved to Charlotte. Man, it's, I'd say 93, 4, 5 or something like that. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I'm actually going to Bristol in September with my wife and daughter.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go there, so now I finally get to go.
That's great.
We're gonna miss the accent.
You what?
One of the comments was, we're going to miss the accent.
Nothing I can do about it.
Let's see. All right, so here it is. He's not able to get connected, but here is here's the letter, and here's the flag that was signed by you.
It's a letter.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a letter.
I think that's what it says. It says, it says sincerely Ward Burton. If he bought it from somebody at an auction, and he says it's signed by you.
Yeah, I can't. It looks like my autograph. I've never charged for nothing like that. That'd be crazy. Hell, not normal to be signing your name anyway,
He says it was for the American Cancer Society.
The what?
He said it was for the American Cancer Society.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I understand the auction part now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh yeah. So when did you hang on? I seen it the other day. I just watched it the other day. Your first cup win was at Rockingham in, I want to say, what, 95?
Very good.
Yeah. What was going through your mind when you won that very first race?
Man, it was a lot of drama in that race, we got the car, we led right off the get-go, and we had a couple of set of tires that wasn't really what the car needed. The last, I'd say, 3 sets of tires, the car was really good, and we were leading when they threw a caution. So the three team was contesting a penalty with a lug nut being not on the left rear. They threw a caution, and they came and checked the lug nut, and the lug nut was on the 3 car. So then they came up with a rule: they're going to let everybody pit, but they're going to come out the way they came in. So we came in leading, and we obviously didn't go out leading because we never really had that good pit stops. But anyway, we went back to the front. In that last 10 laps, man, my car was on the money. There wasn't nobody that could touch me at that point. So yeah, we earned it that day, and I got my first Busch win at Rockingham too. So really loved that racetrack.
Yeah, I wish they would bring it back. Let's see. So he appreciates me, doing the shout out for him. He couldn't get connected. He says for some reason his camera's not working or anything like that. Let's see. So I have one more question from one of my Facebook followers.
Okay.
He wants to know, did you ever win at Dover?
No. I finished second in a Busch race, had some top 5s in a Busch race. We had some top 10s in the Cup Series, We got the pole in I think it was 95 or 94. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. We didn't get the pole. We qualified second. Jeff Gordon got the pole.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that was a tough racetrack for me. When I had the car right,
Mm-hmm.
I could haul the mail, but getting the car right and giving the proper information seemed like it. I don't know. So I think some of it was me. Obviously, wasn't all of it, but I just didn't have really a lot of success at Dover. Tough. It's a tough racetrack, man. That track will eat a race car up in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you hit the outside, you're gonna hit just as hard on the inside. I can promise you.
Yeah, I like Dover. It's one of those unique. I love racing it virtually. I think it's fun, to be honest. It reminds me of like a mini Bristol and Martinsville.
Yeah. It's fast racetrack.
Do you would you want to go? Would you want to step back into a car again for at least one more race?
Do what?
If the opportunity came around, would you love to race against Jeb?
Probably, possibly. Haven't really given it much thought. I could do it. I would like to probably get a little bit of seat time somewhere. With the testing rules now, that's pretty impossible. But I don't know if that situation would ever materialize. But it could be fun.
I think it'd be pretty cool to see you two go at it. I think it was it Kansas and it was Daytona when Todd Gilliland went up against his dad. I thought that was one hell of a run between those two before they both got caught up in that accident.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Let's see. I told people, I said I'm Q&A session now. Give me some questions. How's the weather down there in Virginia?
Man, it's been a little kind of overcast today. It really wasn't that hot. I sweat through my shirt, pants, and everything else, but probably in the high 80s. But it's going to be in the 90s the rest of the week. So pretty humid. Doesn't take long. If you do anything outside, you're going to work up a sweat real quick.
Oh yeah, that's how it has been in Ohio. Ward, this is one of my buddies, Xavier Brown. He's one of my co-hosts. I figured to bring him on. He's got some questions for you.
Hey, buddy, how you?
I don't ever remember you racing, but I became a fan in 2007.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense, buddy.
Yeah. I'm young still. I'm 15, only turned 16 in a couple of days.
Well, that's a big milestone. Big 16. Heck yeah.
But I do have a question. I don't know if anybody asked this, but if you had to pick one track to make your return at, what track would that be?
Probably Darlington. Yeah, I mean,
2001 7,500 winner.
Yeah, it's changed, but it's not changed that much. I mean, the safety barrier wall took away about 2 feet of racing asphalt, but it's still the old lady in black. So I'd probably pick Darlington. Yeah.
All right.
That's a great track.
It is.
Yeah.
Hey,
unique.
I'd tell you what, my favorite Darlington race has to be that 2003 race between Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch. Literally one of my favorite finishes. Xavier Ward won there in 2000 as well as 2001, where he actually won the Southern 500.
All right.
Yep, in the 22 Caterpillar Ford Dodge.
We gave a couple away. One rain got us. I got in a crash off turn 2. We it was about a 3-year stretch, man. We should have won at least 2 more of those races.
I know this may be a type of question that might have a lot of bias behind it, but I race virtually too, like Jordan does. For next season, the sim that I participate in, we are going to do a throwback race. Is there any throwback that you would recommend that I should run?
Man, you know, buddy, there's really just depends on who your racing idols are. You know, there's so many. You know, like mine would have been the number 12 Coca-Cola Bobby Allison.
Oh.
So I had number 12 on my basketball jersey, on my go-kart. Every sport I played, I always had number 12. So that was my hero. So I mean, I know you're young, but you know, heck, it might be a guy that you've started watching since '07, and they just don't have that paint scheme anymore. You know.
Yeah, see, it's like with me, Xavier. My favorite paint scheme of all time is the has to be the Rainbow Warriors of Gordon. Like when I missed that paint scheme, but I also like the Caterpillar black and yellow a few years ago in one of my racing games. I actually did that scheme. My number, the 32, was like the red, and then I had like the black line across it and the yellow, kind of like your Caterpillar car, Ward.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Man, I just met with 2 gentlemen today, and one of them is with the Wounded Warrior Project.
Uh-huh.
So I'm really looking forward to teaming up with them. We've got a veterans event coming up September 10th.
Nice.
So yeah, that sounds like a cool thing to have on your car.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. Look, I got. Let's y'all ask me a few more questions. Let me wrap up.
No problem, buddy.
And
David,
I mean, what time do you normally go to, Jordan?
I usually go until about whoever I guess this wraps up. I'm about done myself, so. But
Okay.
I would but Ward, I'd love to try and get Jeb on here with you sometime.
We can try to make that happen. He is literally all over the place, but you stay in contact. We'll see if we can do that.
No problem. Xavier, do you have one last question?
I do not.
All right, Ward. Well, I really appreciate you stopping by my podcast today. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and hope I can come back on here with you and Jeb.
Sounds good. Hey, Jordan, thanks so much for having me. And what's your name, son?
Xavier.
Xavier?
Yes.
Oh, nice to meet you, and y'all be safe. Hey, you're getting ready to get your driver's license, so be careful out there. It's not a racetrack. Those trees and all don't give, man. You know?
All right, see you guys.
All right, thank y'all. Y'all have a great evening.
You too. All right, Xavier, thank you for joining me. All right, guys, this has been iMotorRace Talk with Jordan Balasico featuring Ward Burton. Have a good night, guys, and stay safe.